What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, circus freaks and bears and animals and tigers and all those folks? What I want you to do tonight is to get whatever it is you got that's going to make you feel right for the situation that's just about ready to go live here.
Is it live?
Yeah, we are
I'm
live,
gonna
Ganja
go and,
Goddess.
make it live, and I'll be over there in a second.
We are live,
I'm gonna
Ganja
share
Goddess.
the link. Going to share the link, and then
Clean
I'll
out
be
my,
there.
get out the old handy dandy pumpkin bong. And pull out some of this beautiful grape stomper. And we're going to take a little bit of this. And we're going to do a little bit of that. We're going to put a little bit of this into that, like this. And we're going to close this up like this. We're going to start this show right. We're going to start this show because tomorrow is Dr. Levesque's memorial. And for you folks that don't know who Dr. Levesque is, in the state of Oregon, back in the day when cannabis, I guess, was quasi illegal. I want to say quasi because the prohibition isn't over, and we're going to talk about that a little later on down the road here on the show. Yeah, man, Dr. Levesque, this was a guy that was a doctor in Oregon who was very much for the ideals behind cannabis and what it could do for so many ailments, especially in the people that he treated at the time when he was a licensed physician in the state. But there's much more to Dr. Levesque than that. Dr. Levesque was a very beautiful and very complex man who come from a very sturdy, yet simple upbringing. Dr. Levesque was also a death camp liberator in World War II. Dr. Levesque was involved in the issues of going over and liberating folks from death camps. Dr. Levesque did his time and earned his bones in society before he really came and started getting involved in the cannabis world. Dr. Levesque started his little his adventure when he started to realize some of the things that were taking place, not only in our government at the time, but also what was taking place in societies and society's norms. And Dr. Levesque, he broke the sound barrier when it come to wanting to stand up amongst all his peers, even when all his peers thought he was crazy for doing so. Here's a guy who's a doctor who, and in a time when prohibition was very much, we were in the height of the depth of it, who stood up against all his peers, all his other physicians and other doctors, and said, this is enough is enough. We need to we need to do something about this. And it was through Dr. Levesque, in his fight, that he ended up losing his job. He lost his licensing to practice medicine primarily because he was for cannabis. And eventually it just, they winnowed him away and put him in a corner because, his peers didn't accept him any longer. And once he started to come out about his feelings for cannabis, you can only imagine what the other doctors were doing. They were like, we're not going to have anything to do with this guy, because if we do that, then the pharmacies ain't going to pay us the good money that we got to keep us, neck deep in strippers on the French Riviera on cigarette boats. So, and Dr. Levesque, he was an avid fighter. I mean, Dr. Levesque wanted to break the stereotype about cannabis use and, wanted to end the ignorance that was going on amongst his peers and amongst the people that he worked with in his field as a physician. And, Dr. Levesque served his whole life serving others, whether it was in war or whether it was at home. Dr. Levesque was always kind and compassionate about giving and helping other folks overcome their ailments through, through a modern society that didn't accept natural homeopathic medicines. And of course, Dr. Levesque, being the genius that he was, saw the potential that cannabis could do medically in his community, and he stood for the patient. And I would say that in a world where we live today, doctors don't stand for patients. Doctors don't care about patients. It's a quick buck. We live in a society today where it's a fact that most physicians in America, they make more money, selling in their pharmaceuticals and playing up to the pharmaceutical racket than they do in the procedures that they perform. In Oregon alone, last year, they did a study last year. In Oregon, most of our major physicians, that's cardio, neuro, that's everything, osteo, that's everything that any physician that's assigned to. They made more money playing into the pharmaceutical racket than they did working in their fields in Oregon. That's right. I said that correctly. That's right. The pharmaceutical companies pay the doctors more money to sell their bullshit to you
That's true.
Than they would ever make doing a brain surgery or a lung transplant or something like that. Pharmaceutical companies paid physicians millions of dollars every year, just tens of thousands of dollars every year, just to lie to you, the patient. And so when Dr. Levesque, come out about this, Dr. Levesque, he broke the sound barrier in Oregon when it came to medical cannabis for everybody. He literally busted the barrier. And I think that, tomorrow when we have his memorial at Cascade Gateway Park in Salem, Oregon, it's going to be at 2:00. If you folks want to come out to that, please do. It's going to be a wonderful, warm, loving event. It's going to, it's all thrown off by Bonnie King. Bonnie King, we love you. We thank you for your support, for all the things you've done for the Oregon cannabis community. You've always been the reporter to tell the truth. In a world where we have, papers that lie to us and doctors that lie to us and get paid more money by the pharmaceutical companies to blow our smoke full of, blow our ass full of smoke and do the things they do. So, Bonnie, kudos to you. You are truly a champion in the cannabis cause, and in today's age where we live, it's a lot different. But I want to have this big, huge hit of medical cannabis, this grape stomper for Dr. Levesque, for Jack Hare, for Eddie Lepp, for all the great people, the Stormy Ray, Medicine Woman, for all the great people that have fought long and hard, longer than I have, longer than Goddess has, longer than anybody has, when it comes to cannabis. And so, this is for Dr. Levesque right here.
Sorry, I'm sharing this in my.
Passing that over to Ganja Goddess real quick.
Trying to share this, so my computer's glitching out.
Oh, grape stomper tastes like you're eating a grape and peanut butter grape sandwich, like grape jelly, and like grape jelly on toast or something.
Yeah, it does.
It does. It tastes just like grape jelly.
It's delicious.
I love it. It kind of reminds me of the Willy Wonka episode where you can chew on the everlasting gobstopper. No, it wasn't the ever. That was for the candy for the poor kids, right? That was candy for poor kids. It was a candy that could last forever for the poor kids, so that the little poor kid would never run out of candy because the everlasting gobstopper would just last forever, and so the little kid would always be satisfied and always have candy. But there was the other one where Veruca Salt got a hold of the bubble gum.
Baruch salt.
And Willie's like, no, stop. No, don't eat that. Stop. You know, and of course, right off the bat, man, here's, you know, Baruch salt chewing on this piece of gum, man. And she goes, oh, I can taste roast beef and hot mashed potatoes and beef gravy and all that other shit, you know. You know. And then the next thing you know, the broad turn, she starts turning purple and blue and starts getting big like a big blueberry. Yep. And then she's like, where are you going to take her? We're going to take her to the squeezing room, to the juicing room. She's going to be juiced. That's what it reminds me of. This cannabis just juiced me. Yeah, it's really nice.
You can load another bowl.
Oh, absolutely going to load another bowl. This is what the Druid Smoke Show is all about, right, folks? It's all about the cannabis, the good people, you know, I want to give a shout out to all my fans in China. I love you folks over there. I can't emphasize how important it is to me how big of an impact it hits me right in my chest. You know, when I realize, man, we are fighting a prohibition in our country, you know what I'm saying? You know, where people are getting locked up and still getting harassed and they're being told, oh, we're going to protect you, so we got to add more rules and all this other bullshit. But when I hear about how I'm starting to get a lot of viewers in China, you know, I want my Chinese family to know, man, that's amazing. It does something to me. I don't know what it does. It's so deep inside. You know, when I have fans from China that are watching and you know, my Chinese family over there, much love to you, man. You know, I know that you live in a country, in a world where, you know, to have a relationship with cannabis would mean your life. I know that literally that would, you could very well lose your life for using and having cannabis over there. So this next bong hit is for my Chinese family. Yeah, man, it just makes me feel good to know that I got folks over there watching and you know, hopefully you can learn something from us over here too. I mean, maybe not, you know, your culture and your society are a lot more older than mine, but maybe you can learn a little more about the other side of America. You know what I mean? Instead of the mainstream America that media and Hollywood has a tendency to portray us as. You know, we're not all the same in America. We have such a beautiful, diverse mix of cultures from all walks of life. And so, you know, including China. And so to be able to have fans and people that watch us from China, man, it just, you know, knowing what could happen to you, you know, if you got caught with cannabis over there in China, it would be something brutal, something I don't think is deserving. And one day I hope, you know, China will be free too. One day I hope that maybe, you know, your folks that are leading your country right now will see the benefits to it, you know, because if we could get cannabis oil over there to those folks in China that are suffering from cancer, let's not forget that China suffers the highest ratio of cancers. I mean, of all countries in the world. You know, when we think about cancer ratios and people that die of cancers and leukemias and things of that nature, due to the fact that China happens to be one of the most populated countries in the world, also has to do with the fact that, you know, your cancer ratio is just insane over there. So if we could get cannabis oil treatments to folks over in your country that are suffering with cancers and leukemias and issues like that we treat it for over in our country, maybe, just maybe, you know, we could do something to fight that cancer that you're fighting with over there in your country, because it's a lot, it's far greater than what we're suffering with over here. I know that we're going through it over here in our country, but not half as bad as you folks do. I know that China is very toxic.
Oh yeah.
So my heart's out to my family over in China. Much love. Much love to my Chinese family. Just imagine my Chinese family. I'm smoking this grape stomper. It tastes just like grapes. Now I know you get grapes over there, and you might have some version of grape jelly over there. You might not, but the next time you do, try a little bit of that. And that's what this tastes like. Tastes like I'm just smoking, like I'm smoking grape jelly or something. It's really good tasting.
Grape jelly.
Yeah, it's really good. Kind of reminds me of the old school jelly beans from the 70s when I was a kid. You know, you get the grape one. Remember the grape ones you used to get? What do they call those? Alexander grapes or something like that?
Alexander grape.
Remember Alexander grapes? The little packages of Alexander grapes. They were like a little grape jelly bean, man. They were phenomenal. Phenomenal. But anyways, back to Dr. Levesque. I would hope that all the folks that see this video, if you're local or around the area in the vicinity, I would hope to see you be able to come out.
Yeah, viewers going on right
you know, be able to come out to Dr. Levesque's memorial to say your piece to the man who fought for us. You know, he's
2 o'clock. Tell them where it is.
yeah, it's 2 o'clock at the Cascade Gateway Park. Bonnie King is going to be hosting it. She's with Salem News. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to being able to be around a bunch of good people celebrating Dr. Levesque's life tomorrow. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be there. Come on down, man. You know, we can all sit around in a circle and you know, we can all share stories. And if you know about Dr. Levesque and you've experienced something personally with him, you know, maybe you can share that with the rest of the community to help them kind of understand. One thing we should never do is never let his legend, you know, and the things that he achieved for the state of Oregon for cannabis, let it be forgot. It should never be forgot. So, you know, as usual, Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival will, you know, our Cannabis Garden Club is always about, you know, memorializing, you know, the folks that have fought so hard for, you know, our equal rights, who are no longer with us, you know, folks like Jack Hare and, you know, of course, Dr. Levesque. And so, and so many others. So, you know, we celebrate the lives of those folks that fought hard for our rights to have the freedom to make this choice without having our doors kicked in and having, you know, our dogs shot and all that good stuff, you know, which is terrible stuff. And by all means, I hope that we can move forward with a better future. Right now, as it is, you know, we've got dudes in suits and ties that think that they need to make us safer for some reason because, you know, Measure 91 isn't good enough, even though, you know, they immediately started attacking the medical and cannabis program day one on the implementation of 91. You know, you had Anthony Johnson out there, and you know, now he's begging for help because he fucked up. And then you've got fucking Amy Margolis out there, who is a fucking asshat and a criminal. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now, man. You know, I hate to bust the bubble on that one, but any broad that says that she's for the cannabis, but then can go in front of the legislation and tell the Oregon legislation and the panel for the implementation of 91 that everybody that grows medical is involved in medical safe access points or is involved in the medical marijuana program are criminals operating in a gray area that needs to be regulated before the recreational market can move forward. That's exactly what she said. You know, her testimony is recorded. It's on tape. You can go to the Oregon Legislative website and watch the video yourself. You know, you've got Amy Margolis. You've got so many other people who, you know, at one time or another, they thought, oh, yeah, they're great people and everything's going to be good, you know, and they're going to do their thing. But, you know, is it real or is it Memorex? That's the whole That's the whole trip, man. You know, with Oregon medical cannabis, and then with recreational taking place in July. You know, there's so much panic and so much chaos right now. You know, the lines are blurred. People are, you know, they can't even make a difference. You know, they don't know the differences. You know, even though a lot of us in the medical cannabis world know that, you know, when you're suffering from a stage 3 cancer or stage 4 cancer, it's no longer recreational. You know, so, and most people can figure that out, but your senators and your legislators and your lobbyists and all those guys that are up there on Capitol Hill that I've been with and hung around with up there and call them out on their bullshit, you know, giving them opportunities to refute what they've said. You know, I've given Amy Margolis more than an opportunity to stand up and say she didn't say that. I've given her more than an opportunity to stand up and defend herself for the bullshit she said about the medical cannabis community. You know, it sickens me that you or anybody in this world could, you know, be down on medical cannabis. You know what I mean? Because we've got recreational now. Why do we care about medical anymore? We can go recreational, make our money, blah, blah, blah. No, you can't, because they have so many fucking rules in place now. I don't care what you got and what you can bring to the market to play with. Oregon Liquor Control Commission is now going to be chief boss of your recreational dreams. So, and if you think that's going to be a success, then go look at the liquor stores. Okay, you go look at the booze stores. Go look, go look at how they run that shit already. All right, you know. Something that gets me very, very, very pissed off, and I try not to, and I'm not going to get angry tonight. It's, you know, it's just futile to even try to or attempt to do so. You know, when I told folks 3 years ago that this was going to happen to us, okay? Everybody knows. All right, everybody knew this. If you were watching my videos 3-4 years ago, you would have already known that this was coming. All right. You would have seen this in the works before we even knew who Anthony Johnson was. Okay. Got to remember, that dude appeared out of the middle of nowhere. I don't know where the fuck he came from. Nobody can explain to me where he came from. Well, yeah, they can give me his background, but really, who the fuck is that dude and where the fuck is he coming from? You know what I'm saying? I get it. Everybody says, oh, his intentions were good and everything. Really? Well, if his intentions were so good, I would like to ask everybody out there, why the attack on the medical cannabis community? Why are we still fighting for safe access in a majority of our state? For just safe access, for medical safe access. Why are we still fighting for that? All right. But yet, we're regulated, and we're, you know, now we need more regulations to add on to those regulations to make those regulations work with the new regulations that they're going to put in place. You see what I'm saying? The idiocracy. They're doing this to protect a very small interest. And, you know, it's going to have to take a rebellion. It's going to take a Johnny Potseed rebellion, and that's how I've always called it. And, you know, that's going to be part of my speech at 710. If you folks are in the Salem area, you better get your butts down here. If you're not, around July 10th, 710, you know, our 710 cup's coming up. It's going to be a fucking blast. You know, you're not going to want to miss that one. You got an overnight camp out there. There's going to be music. There's going to be good smoke, good people, art, love, families, peoples. Going to be out in Turner. If you want to, you can go to Ganja Goddess's Facebook link, and she'll link you to it. Or, you know, it's being held by the I guess the SCIA group, the Salem Cannabis Industry Group. You know, I'm not really a part of that. You know, my whole objective has always been, you know, trying to fight for patients. I don't, you know. But we're going to definitely be there, and we're going to be speaking out for the patients that aren't. They're going to be able to be there. But I would encourage anybody that's local or from around the area, come out, man. Sit down in a circle with us. Let's play some music. I'll get my guitars out. My friend's coming down with his guitar. We're going to all be blazing out and playing on our guitars and talking, you know, and just trying to relax, man. But back to the other end of it. The recreational blur has to do with the immediate attack. We already knew that from the start. Now we need to go to the second phase of that recreational blur. And now, you know, Colorado's already showed up. Washington's already showed up. LA has already showed up. All these other out of state folks have already showed up and testified in front of legislation, you know. So now what's next? The very next process from there is, of course, you know, taking it to the next level, and that is just regulatory judgments. And so all their regulatory judgments that they're currently making on the implementation of 91 have to do with all the fucking mistakes that allegedly the medical cannabis board has fucked up on. That's why they've been trying to go back and forth on this bullshit. You got Amy Margolis talking horrible crap about medical cannabis dispensaries being involved in criminal markets, medical cannabis growers being involved in criminal markets. She's sitting right next to the director of OLCC. She's testifying in front of the Senate, House Senate. All right. So the people that we didn't really want to air any kind of fucking nasty bullshit laundry in front of, I'm sorry, but guess what? All these big cannabis groups with all this big money, you know, I don't know what it costs. I think it's like $1,500 just to join the Oregon cannabis group. You know what I'm saying? It costs ludicrous amounts of money. Nothing that I would rather spend it in my garden. You know, I'd rather spend it on my plants, maybe my wife, my dogs, my kids, something else. You know, I would never spend that much money to go hobnob with a bunch of ball washers and sit there and ball wash about bullshit that doesn't make any fucking sense about today's market, about what's going on in our gardens today, what's taking place with the revolution of our plants, how our plants are developing and changing. You know, a lot of folks don't give a shit about that as long as they can stand in a fucking line and get their $60 gram of what they call recreational headache weed, so that they don't ever get a chance to taste the real fine stuff, you see. And that's shitty. It should never be that way. Everybody should have equal opportunity to be able to access an open market, not a market that's so regulated and so authoritatively controlled that nobody can play into it. Which is going to, of course, make the black market win even further, because, you know, I don't think OLCC could ever compete with what a black market's going to continually provide for its marketing. I just don't see it happening. I don't care how many regulations you throw at it, how many cops you bring to my door and want to count my plants and all that bullshit. I don't care. It's not going to stop the victory that you're giving the people that we didn't want victory for. So, once again, I've asked the director of OLCC directly in his face, do you feel comfortable at night knowing what you've said in front of the Senate? You've lied. You've lied. You've misconstrued the truth. You've stretched it. You've manipulated it to the way that it would fit your group's needs. Just like Amy Margolis and her Ed Rosenthal group. Fuck, man. $900 a plate to eat dinner with Ed Rosenthal. No, sorry, that's going into my Harley and taking my wife out to dinner. I'm not taking Ed Rosenthal out to lunch, that ugly fucker. But, you know, nobody wants the straight truth to the fact of what's going on in the cannabis garden, because you know what? As long as the shit's going down, there's always going to be some crazy shit going on with the phases of this recreational blur. And that's what I'm calling it. It's the recreational blur. When the shininess of that penny wears off, then you're going to know. Then you're going to know. It's going to be really fast. It's already happened in Colorado. It's already happened in Washington. The shininess of the pennies already wore off. And yeah, it looks good for some groups, but it doesn't look good for the originals, the people that actually started the whole thing. You know, there's my goddess. So, you know, you got to keep in mind how it rolls out. You know, it's not, the penny's really shiny right now, but that penny ain't going to be so shiny here pretty soon. No matter how you look at it, it ain't going to be shiny pretty soon. It's just going to wear off because there's going to be more rules. Cops going to come to your door. They're going to want to know the OLCC cops are going to want to know what's up, you know, and how it's played out. What's up with your doors? You know, all that bullshit, which is stupid, you know, when you think about it, because now they're eliminating it to where a medical grower can no longer have more than a certain amount of patients. You know, they're eliminating how many patients a person can have. They're calling them card stackers. I called them card stackers too, but they were gray market card stackers who got away with a regulatory rule that could have very well been handled with in-house. It's something that we could have dealt with in-house. We didn't need to have somebody that doesn't know anything about medical cannabis tell us about it. We should have had the medical cannabis community deal with that. And I think that we were at the time, except for, you know, we had the little runoff from the famous cafe issue a couple years back. You know, with lots of excuses about why the runoff, you know, and all the famous hoo-ha fucking ball washers who were big in game. But when the shit's deep and the trenches are getting deeper and we're fucking fighting hard right now for every little bit of right we may have as an individual medical grower who grows their own medicine, you know, that's where it's eliminated at now. And we knew that was coming and we're ready for that fight. You know, it's not going to go down easy, man. They know that we've already called them who they are. We already told them what they're about. They know that they've got to make some changes. They know they got to stop calling it marijuana. They got to fucking quit that right now. That's got to end right now. That's ignorance. When I hear somebody use the word marijuana, I think ignorance, because first off, marijuana has nothing to do with mota. You know, and if you know the word marijuana and where it originates from, then maybe you would understand how fucking ignorant it sounds today in 2015. So it's 2015. Let's call it what it is, okay? Cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, cannabis hybrid.
Doesn't even sound nice to call it marijuana to me.
Mm-hmm. When I was a kid back in the early days in the 70s, if you come up to me and ask me in the 70s for some marijuana, I would think you were a fucking cop. I wouldn't think you had anything to do with marijuana. Marijuana? I smoke marijuana. You got some marijuana? No, I don't do marijuana. I've done that to cops before. Them undercover fucks when I was a kid, man. You know, you could tell they'd be wearing the eyes on shirts, you know. Yeah, that's right, you rat snitching fucks. You know, they'd be wearing their eyes on shirts and their little preppy shit, but then they'd have, like, you know, a little bit of the stoner mix with it. They'd have like the Zen bracelets and, you know what I mean, like they were cool stoner kids, you know, the little pink eyes odds. You know, I remember that fucking day, man. I hated them fuckers. You know, them dudes would come up, oh, hey, you know, I'm like, yeah. Marijuana? Did you say marijuana, man? Yeah. You got some marijuana, man? No, I don't do marijuana, man. Fucking nerdy little fucking rat snitching bitches. I'll tell you another thing. One of them get me the goat shows, man. You know what I'm saying when I'm thinking about this. You know how OLCC has spent huge amounts of money, time, our money, not theirs. They don't spend any of their money. You see, this is how it works, boys and girls. every year the state sends us, the citizens, a little thing called taxes. And in it says, you own property. Well, yes, of course. Well, if you do, you owe this much because you're in the city. Oh, yeah, and you're near a school, so you're going to owe some more. And you're near a crosswalk, near a school, which is near another school, you're going to owe more money for your taxes. So even though you may own your house, you still have to pay every year land taxes, which go directly to the coffers. And those coffers, of course, end up getting distributed to the people that we hate, like OLCC, you see. Now, all the money that OLCC makes off of their pilfers off their booze, okay, that they peddle to little kids. I said that directly too. Is because they use little children. Now, a lot of folks don't realize this, but OLCC uses children as undercover agents. They hire children that are in high school to go into restaurants and into lottery joints and different places, and uses them as bait to order alcohol to see if they're carded. That's right. OLCC uses minor children as bait to see if businesses are carding. But yet they're worried about the kids. Yep. See, they're worried about kids getting a hold of cannabis. And Ganja, you want to smoke this dude with me?
Yeah, sure.
They're worried about kids getting cannabis, and you know, of course, the problem with that is kids aren't into cannabis, man. Fuck. They're into oxycodones. Kids are into oxys these days, man. Fuck. We have a epidemic of mass proportions going on right now. Our children are more into Pfizer than they are into something natural like this joint right here. See, I would rather, you know, little kids get a hold of some fucking crazy thing like this than them getting a hold of an oxycodone, wouldn't you?
Me too.
Wouldn't you? I mean, come on, do the math here for a minute and think about it, okay? How many lives are destroyed over Pfizer? How many people every year become heroin addicts because of the opiates that were laced in their oxycodones? And what do people do for oxycodone? Now, you see, I come from a little darker past, and so I can tell you what people do for oxycodone on a personal experience, okay? I've seen guys sell their souls, destroy their families, lose their livelihoods, lose their jobs. I've seen dudes do crazy shit for fucking pills, man. And it doesn't make sense to me. It don't make any sense to me at all why people would do that. But these are pills, dudes. These are pills that fucking doctors give to people because they hurt or they got an owie or their tooth got yanked or whatever the fuck. Okay. The doctor doesn't inform the patient that, okay, I'm giving you oxycodone right now, and it's habit forming. Okay, you know, it's a habit forming thing, and you know, don't worry. We're gonna have some programs and some therapy set up for you after you take your oxycodone program, and then we'll help you wean yourself up. They don't do that. The reason they don't do that is because they can't do that. Because once they put opioids into your body, put the opiate into your body, whether it's oxycodone, heroin, I don't give a fuck what you do. Once you get opiate in your body, man, it's something you just don't let go of, okay? It's like smoking a cigarette. If you smoke cigarettes, then you know what I'm talking about. You know, the nicotine factor. A lot of folks, they just can't kick the fucking cigarette habit because of that, you know. And, you know, it's a very addictive substance. And opiate is just as addictive. And not only is it just as addictive, but it can destroy whole worlds. It has. Right now, as we speak, all the way across our country, there are parents right now, all across our country right now, that have lost children to these drugs. Okay? Yet we sell them every year. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but the United States is the leader in the purchase of oxycodones. Okay? In other words, the United States of America uses more opiates than any other country in the world. Did you know that the United States uses more opiates than any other country in the world? That's exactly what I just said. So we are a bunch of opiate heads, poppy heads. We like the poppy, don't we?
Yep.
See? Well, I don't. I don't like what it does to the people that I love. I don't like what it does to little kids. You know, the kids that lose out when their parents get an oxy habit.
Very sad.
I don't like it. I don't like what it does to people. I don't like what it does to the soul of little children that lose their parents over it. I mean, people, they forget they have kids when they're on these pills, dudes. They forget that anything exists. They forget that it's even real. I mean, it takes away the realism from it. The same thing goes with OLCC, okay? OLCC is like Pfizer, all right? When I asked the director of OLCC, what the fuck, dude? You know, 37 children in Oregon lost their lives last year to alcohol-related fatalities. These are kids that weren't even old enough to drink. And they were killed by other people that were drinking. People get killed all the time over alcohol. Fuck, people get drunk and shoot each other over their fucking tennis shoes and do stupid shit on alcohol, man. But hey, it's all part of society's norm, right? You know, the mayor's granddaughter goes down to Willamette Valley Vineyards last year and goes to the Great Grape Stomp Off, and she gets to stomp Chardonnay grapes and make wine at a alcohol manufacturing facility, but yet they're telling me, oh, we're probably going to take your ability to grow cannabis. Bullshit. Fuck you.
It's pretty sad.
The only way you're going to take my ability to grow cannabis is by me being dead. So that's you're going to have to kill me. All right. There's got to have to be a death sentence for me. And not only that, I'm not gonna stop testifying to the world that cannabis can free the world from a lot of its problems. With cannabis, I can clothe the world. With cannabis, I can feed the world. With cannabis, I can medicate the world. And with cannabis, I can create the world. You can't do that with just any one thing. Cannabis is the only thing you really can do it with. Mm-hmm. With other things, you got to mix a bunch of shit together to make it work. With cannabis, I don't have to do that. I don't have to. I had a grower, you know, we get ooh. Purple haze. Oh fuck, what is that? That's purple haze. That 15.8, huh? THC 15.8. That's a low THC factor, so that's more of a sativa, isn't it?
It's more for pain.
Well, 15.8 is CBD is.
What's the CBD?
CBD is 0.61. So
for pain.
Yeah,
and make your back feel good.
It's gonna make my back feel good, so I can play guitar better.
Anyway. Make your neck feel a lot better.
Yeah. Sure is a good tasting thing.
I like the purple ones.
Got a nice flavor. But OLCC is the same as Pfizer, folks. It's no different. They're just making rules to protect their own interests. They don't care about yours. They don't give a fuck that you're going to have to probably stand around in a fucking parking lot at 12 o'clock at night to get a stiff dub from some idiot because you can't afford their cannabis. I wouldn't buy their cannabis. Who's going to go to the goddamn, man, just doesn't make sense to me. It don't make any fucking sense to me at all. Why is it necessary? If folks want to go buy cannabis, man, open up a cannabis store that's for the folks, that's ran by the folks, that actually grow the cannabis and smoke it and know what it is, instead of a bunch of asshats that don't know what side of the plant to smoke. Isn't that true?
That's true.
It's true.
Who was it? Was it Jenny Burdock that said, "What part do you smoke?"
Jenny Burdock.
I think she was the one that said that in the. We went to the implementation of Measure 91 in one of the meetings.
Jenny Burdock. I heard her say it too. She's like, "What?"
Did you say her last name? Burdock or
Burdick?
Burdick.
Burdick. Jenny Burdick. You know, she's like, "Now, which part of the plant do you smoke?" And I'm like,
Did you know that there's a Facebook? They're trying to get her impeached. They're trying to get enough signatures to get her.
Oh, impeach old Jenny, huh?
Her and Senator Cruz.
Well, folks, I'll have you know right now, it's about $750,000 a year in severance that she's going to get a walk on, regardless of whether you fire her or you don't.
Seems like that, but.
Oh, they fucking pad them bitches up, man. They pad that shit up.
Considering what they pay.
Oh fuck, man.
Veterans.
They get their own license plates. They get an issued car to them from the state pool every year. They get fucking huge per dime traveling expenses throughout the state and the United States. So like if they're going to DC or they're doing some kind of diplomatic bullshit, you know. They get private jets, you know, all of them get a fucking private jet. They get to fly in the governor's jet. All the senators and legislators and shit, they get the access to the governor's jet. The governor's not using it, they get to fly that shit. And as I recall, the state Senate has their own jet. So, you know, must be fucking hard, isn't it? I mean,
must be nice.
To sit up there on your fucking hemorrhoid-infested ass and
gross.
Harass sick people.
Can you imagine having an
and be? It must be really hard for you, Jenny Burdick.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, man, Jenny Burdick. Is that your problem?
She looks like she might like leather.
You know, on this show, folks, we don't really pull any punches. It's not about positives or negatives or anything. It's just about blazing out and just fucking cutting out the day, man.
I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
You know how it is.
Leather.
You know, because it's people like Jenny Burdick that make sick people suffer, man. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, she thinks that little kids should go do chemotherapy instead of do, you know, cannabis oils.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She thinks that cannabis oil is bad for kids. She thinks, even though we've got testimony after testimony after testimony that it's saved little children's lives, it's given children another lease on life, man. And that's the sad thing is that, you know,
if you happen to be watching this video right now and you have somebody in your family or somebody that you love suffering from cancer, encourage them to use cannabis and don't be afraid to do it.
Research it, folks.
Research it.
It's simple. We are a connected world today, man. It's much easier for us to just get on the Goog, man. Fucking check it out, see what it says, okay? You know, don't take my word for it. Don't take just her word for it. Go look for yourself. You know, do the research.
My word for it. No.
Yeah, we'll take her word for it at that level. But
I've done the research.
Do the follow-up and do the steps. You know what I mean? Go do the things that she's saying. You know, go look at it, see what it is, evaluate it, figure it out for yourself. Because it's through that step that you're going to be able to get the information you need to serve your issue. But if you just don't do anything about it, man, then then you're stuck.
You could lose somebody that you love.
You could lose somebody you love, man. And when you know there's testimony of cure,
don't be afraid to give your child oil.
No, man, don't. Don't do it at all.
Their life. Come on. It's gonna make them hungry.
I'm sorry, but
make them want to sleep.
If my child was dying of leukemia or something like that, man, you could believe that I would be giving the best oil I could possibly get for my child.
Harlequin or Charlotte's Web?
Yeah.
That's good for the little.
Harlequin and Charlotte's Web are very phenomenal strains for children's oils.
High CBD.
The CBD base factor when you're talking about a pheno lockoff, it has to do with the cannabinoid profile. Most folks are trying really busy. I mean, and they're already doing it. That's how they did Charlotte's Web. Is they're introducing hemp strains into the cannabis strains, and it seems to be effectively working, where you got the balance without the hard problems that come with just pure hemp oil. Pure hemp oil, on the other hand, would be more applicable to more industrial grade purposes, versus cannabis oils are more for the medicinal purposes. And the thing about it is that when you can bring those hybrids together, like Charlotte's Web and Harlequin, there are other breeds out there.
Those are the ones I've heard the most about, though.
our petrichor oil. It tested out.
Wait, Harlequin or Charlotte's Web are more for like epilepsy.
Right, our petrichor oil, it tested out CBD. Our coconut petrichor tested out very high in the CBD. It was like 37%, and it was like 80 parts per gram or something like that. So it was a very high test rate for the CBD. Something like petrichor would be another phenomenal oil for children because
energy.
Well, it's the energetic oil, but it's when you're talking about different oils, a lot of folks don't realize the differences when it comes to strains. Folks don't realize that if it's a pure sativa, your reactive feelings are going to be a little different. Your medicated sense is going to be affected a lot differently than it would be as if it was a pure indica.
Right.
You'd be more differently, it would be a different high, a different effect, a different medical effect. And so sativa versus indica, or hybrid, you know what I mean? Going with hybrids. A lot of folks these days don't even know what a pure breed plant looks like. And that's why you get folks that look at some of the plants we have and they go, holy shit, what the fuck,
Mm-hmm.
It's because we don't really do a lot of hybrids.
No, we don't. Well, I just did my hair and it looks really brown.
We don't really do a lot of cultivated hybrids. That's the complaint. We do have some hybrids in our collective series, but those hybrids are all based off original #1 cuts. And so, like if we're going to do a sativa, like for instance, Mothership, that's a hybrid.
Oh, I can't wait.
Mothership is a hybrid that is actually doing one of the things that I'm really excited about, and that's Rudialis. A lot of folks, when they go, well, what's Rudialis? Well, a lot of times the best way to identify a Rudialis cannabis plant is usually by their 3-fingered leaves. Usually that is a plant that is multiples all the way around the core, from the center to the top of the central stem. You will find 3-finger leaves all the way to finish. A lot of folks don't know Rudialis because they're too busy with the hybrids. A lot of folks haven't seen the Rudialis. It's the lemon Vorde. It's those are the species within the Rudialis species. You know, you got Lemon Vorde, Congolese, Mothership. You know, very few that I've known in the strains that we've grown, that I've grown of other people's. Now, and I've grown all kinds of strains. I've grown TGA. I've grown fucking, you know, greenhouse seeds. I've grown, you know, I've grown it all. And shit from Canada, shit from Alaska, shit from Spain, shit from, you know, I've grown it all. And to tell you the truth, when you get a hold of a good 45th parallel plant from, you know, from a good breeder that's genius to Oregon and California and Washington, there you'll begin to find some of the rarer breeds. But, you know, it's very hard, seldom and hard push to find. I'll give you another Rudialis plant. Mendocino Purple was Rudialis.
Gosh, they got a little bit of a peep show. Did you see that?
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even.
Sorry.
Throw her money now. I don't even know that Mendocino Purple exists anymore. I've tried to keep the strain, excuse me, so I could breed it. I wanted to breed Mendocino Purple. That's the only one I cared about. It was the only one I wanted to breed. I really love that plant. It really did well up here in Oregon, in the region that I'm in, and I just loved what it did for, you know, the time we had it.
Yeah, it was delicious too.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal medicine. I would have been able to, you know, I would have loved to have been able to breed that out and pull it back in and stuff.
You gave our good friend Coyote a clone.
Yeah, I gave Coyote
I don't know
one.
if I think it died.
No, his clone. He finished his clone. He finished the clone.
I don't think
he didn't clone it. And I was like, oh God, man, you didn't fucking clone that fucking clone. Fuck, you know, that was the only one. I was like, the only plant.
Well, if
it's gone, bro.
It has a Mendocino. Yeah. Let us know, please. If you're willing to give.
They don't have Mendo down there.
They might. You never know.
They got other versions of Mendo now. It's not the original Mendo that we had.
But you never know. Somebody might have had a seed and grew it.
If you got a Mendo Perp, I will be glad to exchange any seed out of my catalog for one of yours.
That'd be awesome.
And I got a large catalog, about 3,000 strains. So if you have that, I'd be glad to sit down and talk. Let's talk trade.
Mm-hmm.
This purple haze I'm smoking is pretty nice. I just read you guys the numbers and everything. Anyways.
So rewind the tape.
Yeah. A lot of good things are happening in the garden, man. We've got some wonderful transitions taking place. You know, one of the plants we're going to be talking about this year a lot is going to be our Mothership. You know, last year, you know, Mothership's a 3-year-old strain. Okay, we started working on Mothership 3 years ago, and you know, it's not to be confused with what TGA just recently come out with, whatever the fuck that is.
What was it they call it? What they call it?
Mother's tongue.
Oh, that's gross. That sounds as bad as lamb's.
Oh yeah.
Or what was that? Tuna
But
who was it?
It's not, you know,
sandwich?
anything of the species. And Mothership is available. We have seed packs available to folks. If you're looking for a tester seed pack, let me know. I might, depending if I know you, I might just let you have one. But, you know, if you are somebody that's interested in growing a phenomenal Rudialis style plant that's just way out of this world phenomenal, Goddess has got some pictures of the garden recently updated up on her Facebook. You can go to Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club. You'll find it on our Facebook, on our website as well. And, you know, check it out. We have packs. We have 6 packs available for $45 reimbursement. That $45, of course, 100% of it, it will go directly to the proceeds to that Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival uses to take care of the patients that they take so kindly care of. Because, you know, Goddess, that's why they call her the Goddess, is because that's her sole role. She loves to care for the people that she works with.
I do.
She's their goddess. I mean, when a guy's hurting really bad, man, and he ain't had any medicine in months, can't afford dispensary medicine,
I give him a lot.
and then they call Goddess and they say, Goddess, you got a little extra of this, a little extra of that, and Goddess says, yeah, we do, and bang, she's a savior to them. That's why they call her the Goddess. So
2 weeks worth of pills and medicine, and
they get salves and tinctures and
all for free. Tinctures,
pre-rolls, you know, they get all the
whatever
goodies.
I have,
Yeah. Whatever she's got in her bag
I
of
even
goods.
put cupcakes in there,
Mhm.
the chocolate cupcakes for one patient, because I just wanted him to feel better somehow. Thought I would try.
It's hard to watch people die, man, and people get sick. And when you're in this trade, when you're in the medical cannabis trade, it's not for recreation, man. We deal with people that are really sick, you know,
Everybody's
and are
sick.
really badly
Everybody
hurting.
has a need for cannabis. I don't care who you are,
Yeah.
or where you are in your life, or how sick you are, or how healthy you may feel. You have a need for cannabis.
And that brings me to another point. We do have 6 packs available, like I said, for $45 reimbursement. That's fairly economical considering I think others companies are running anywhere from $99 for a 6-pack to $75 a 6-pack.
But we don't want to do that.
I'm not about money, okay? I want to get this plant in your hands. So I will do whatever it takes and go to whatever lengths it takes
that grow the plant,
to get
the
this
better
plant.
The world's gonna
That's
be.
right. To get this plant in your hand. I'm not about it. I don't want to make any money off of it. You know why? Because I want to be able to, you know, there's going to be more money to be made off the fact that once you start growing that plant, you know, it's going to be richer to me when you come to me and go, man, that changed my life. See, and then I'm going to fuck, dude, there's no amount of money in the world that could pay for how good that makes me feel. So
because the
if I can
paper
get
it's written on isn't worth its weight
No.
in gold.
No, it ain't worth shit, man. And so what I'm trying to say is I want to be able to get this plant in your hands so that you can start having a relationship with it, you know. And folks go, well, not if you're charging $45 for 6 packs. Well, I charge $45 for 6 packs of seeds to those that wish to grow it for the, you know, their own use, because it costs me a lot of time, a lot of money to breed these seeds, to make these seeds happen, you know, but I don't charge that amount of money. I'm just asking for the reimbursement that it's going to take me to make more seeds happen so that I can get more seeds out to the community at hand.
Think about this,
you know,
how much
that's how I see it.
medicine is inside potentially each of those seeds.
My seeds?
Yeah, just think about it.
Well,
For $45, you're getting 6 plants with thousands of clones, so much medicine to heal yourself with. You know, that if you were to buy that much medicine in a dispensary or on the black market, you wouldn't have any money left at the end of the day to even live.
no.
You know, and grow for
No.
yourself. You know, it's a small amount.
You got to make that connection. It's not just a seed. It's a fucking plant. It's a flowering plant. It's not only a flowering plant, but it's a plant that's going to produce excess amounts of medicine for you. So I want people to try to equate this, and I think the easiest way to do that, I guess, would be for me to go out and grab a plant, huh?
Yeah, go get.
I'll be right back, folks. Goddess is going to keep you entertained.
Which one are you going to bring? I don't know what to do to entertain. You already got a flash show. Can't do that again. It was an accident. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask. But obviously, hopefully the chat works. Let's see. How entertaining, huh? I'm not much of an entertainer. I don't know what to say.
Okay, folks.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. You have my seed box? Oh, my seed box. Get one of my seed boxes. Wait, please. I want to show the world just how really easy cannabis is. That's the whole thing that I've always tried to strive. You know, I've always worked hard to try to convince people that if you can love a house plant like a flower, mow your yard, trim a tree, you can grow a cannabis plant. A lot of folks, they can't connect two and two because they think, well, it's going to take space, and I can't grow because if somebody knows, they're going to smell it, and they're going to, all those things that they think about pre-thought before they even get a plant growing. I try to teach folks that the easiest way to make cannabis happen in your life is, first off, understand what it is you love. You know what I mean? You like cannabis, you love to smoke cannabis, you love what it does for you medically, you love what it does for you recreationally, whatever the case may be. This is just one of my catalogs here of lots of different species of seeds over the years, many years that I've collected. I'm grateful to be a fourth generation cannabis farmer. But let's just grab a seed here. You see these little seeds in this pack right here? You see those right there? Those are just little seeds. Not very much to them at all. I'll hold up the camera here for a minute. I'll try not, because I don't want to tilt my seeds too much. But
those are just
see,
some of them.
Just little. This is just some of the collections over the years. I've got multiples of these cases stacked clear to the wall with different species of seeds. But cannabis begins its life really easy. It starts with just one of those little dudes right there. See all that big? Could you imagine? This thing right here can produce a potential of up to 10 pounds of cannabis flower, 10 pounds of flower. Now I've got videos and photos and things that I have taken over the years, that Goddess has taken over the years of me in my garden. And I've already proved that this one little thing right here can produce a plant that is enough cannabis for one person to easily Stay medicated until that next plant grows. For those folks that are so, oh, I don't have the space, but it's just one plant. Okay, right there. Bing, bing. 10 pounds. 10 pounds has been produced off of this one seed. I've got it on video. I've got it on photo. It's on my Facebook. It's plastered all over the fucking place. I've got witnesses all over the place. 10 pounds of phenomenal cannabis from that one seed. Now, people are fucking lazy. People are fucking lazy. So what does that mean? They go to the dispensaries. They fucking pawn and sell and hawk their fucking asses away so that they can stay, you know, medicated or high, whatever you want to look at it. Okay. So, but I don't like that idea. I don't fucking like spending my money on shitty weed that tastes like fucking horse hay, something a fucking horse would eat. You know what I'm saying? I want cannabis, man. I want good cannabis. I want cannabis that I know is going to be strong. It's going to medicate me. It's going to help me through my day. Going to get me going down and keep me going the way I want to go in my health. Okay, that's what I want.
The best in the world.
So what's next, folks? Ta-da! See right there, folks? That's next, man. So we went from the seed to this right here. Now, how fucking intimidating can that look to you right now? Does that scare the shit out of you or what? Okay? I mean, does that look intimidating? All it is a little tiny, 2-inch pot that I've got, little 2-incher. I've had this pot for many years. I've had many plants babied in this plant. I've had many plants grow in this little pot. But for about 2 years, I've used the same little pot to just grow many, many, many plants, okay? Now, this one little pot has produced probably about 100 pounds of cannabis for me. Just this one pot, all right? And the multiple plants over the 2 years that I've grown it in. Now, here you are looking at the next generation, okay? What you're looking at right there is a little tiny baby petrichor. All right. That's the next phase, right? So we go from this phase right here. Okay, now we're going to go up to the next phase. Are you ready? Oh, what? Less than a few days later, you get that. Whoa, and look at this one. Well, look, it's already going on to its second set of leaves. See, the little dumbos are pushing past. But all I've had to really do is just make sure that the dirt is a little moist and make sure it's in the light and that it's getting its proper light cycle, which is really easy, 12-12 works well for them.
Beautiful.
And then, what's this? It goes to that. You see? She begins to do something completely different, you see? Don't worry, she does. I made sure that she put all of her guns and bombs away for all you government agents. We don't want you to be too intimidated by her. I know it's much easier for you to make Friday the 13th the 12th so that some little kid can have a fucking nightmare over some dude getting his head chopped off with the machete than for you to even look at this. So if you're a government agent, somebody that,
let him know you're
if you're an asshat who believes that this will destroy the world or whatever, just look away, okay? Nobody will tell your mother that you saw it, all right? But if you love this beautiful thing and you love what it does for you, why not? Why not go from that phase to the phases of life that it's simple. You put a little time in it. You come in and look at it every day. Talk to it once a day. That's all you need to do. If that's all you got, if you got 1 hour a day, this plant can harvest good weight for you. Yeah, I know you guys go, oh, that's soil. You know, whatever. Yeah, I grow in soil. I'm a vegetarian grower, though. I don't grow with meat byproduct. I don't use animal manures or anything like that on my plants. I'm kind of that. I'm kind of big about that. As you can tell how healthy she is. There's another petrichor. She's a young girl, young teenager. Don't worry. If you're a government agent, like I said, man, just turn away. You don't have to fucking look, all right? But I love this plant. I love what it does for my family. I love what it does for me. I love what it does for the people that I give it to. And I want to give you this plant. That's right. This plant. I will do anything I can to put this in your hands so that you can have a relationship with it. That's why the logo on our club logo is always one free plant. So, we have given away thousands of these, just like this, to individuals that have never had a relationship with them. Most guys and gals that start out with growing plants, they're intimidated. They're not sure whether they can do it. But, they can do it. It's pretty simple. It's just about loving this thing, learning how to understand what it needs. It's about air, water, sunlight, vibrations. The plant needs to feel vibrations, needs to feel love, So, and that's what it's all about, man. It's about love, and she's just a teenager. She's only, she's just a baby, here in another few more months, and she's going to be, taller than me. And I'm going to be looking up to her, and she's going to be standing in the moonlight. And you all are going to be able to see video footage of her. She's growing and she's developing over the time of the year, the harvest. And what's going to be nice is that, I can continue this over and over and over again, 5 harvests a year. Over and over and over again without ever stepping in a dispensary line or going to have to spend my money, my hard-earned money on bullshit recreational state government cannabis when I did it myself. And, that was the whole reason I started my seed company in the first place. I started my seed company because, one, I couldn't afford seeds. When I first got into medical cannabis, I didn't know where to go because the state was like, well, we're not going to tell you where to go get your cannabis. You know what I mean? We don't know what to do for you, and then I went to dispensaries and I was like, wow, $75 for 6 seeds in a dispensary. I couldn't afford that for plants. And then plants, I was looking at their plants and I was like, man, those fucking plants look like Charlie Brown Christmas trees. Those teenagers that they had in there were nasty. You look at my teenage girl right here. She's a teenager. I want you to notice that she has all of these. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at all those arteries in there. Look at all these life-giving plants. You see what I'm saying? This thing here is going to produce top easy for me. And I will weigh her this year, and we will track her from start to finish for you on video, just for my fans in China, because I love my fans in China. This is my Lemon Verde. She is what they call a, like I was talking to you previously about. She's the 3-finger girl. She smells good. She's been nighting out there in the night air, and I can smell the enzymes that I've got in here, these live little enzymes and creatures in here that I've got in the soil. Really, she's eating that stuff up like nice and good. But she smells really good.
I can smell
Can you smell this little girl? She's a teenager and she's a reeking good, man. She's actually responding to this light right now, as you can tell. She was a little limp when I brought her in here, but now, as you can tell, she's starting to peek up a little bit. And there might be a little bit of a full moon out there. I'll have to look when I take her back outside. But the thing about it is, folks, is it does. Like I said, here's where it begins. See the life cycles? You see the life cycle beginning? Now, are you a full idiot that's going to spend your money on somebody else's bullshit, or are you going to learn how to do it for yourself? It's that simple. You know what I mean? I love everyone that I teach how to teach, how to grow this stuff. But I tell folks all the time, man, government weed is going to be the bad stuff, man. And she's not government. She don't serve no government. The government gives me a little card that I carry in my wallet that says I can grow her. But, you're not going to take that from me, government. Okay, I don't care how you don't like her. And I know that to you, she's lewd and lascivious and she's a destroyer of lives. This thing right here. I don't know what their thinking is, but for some reason, most government people think this thing is worse than a nuclear bomb. So, but she's not. She's harmless, as you can tell. She hasn't bitten me once. She's actually been a very good girl. She's been very peaky tonight, as you can tell. She's like, hi, how you doing?
Just happy to see everybody.
And I just got one question for the cannabis plant, and that is do you think regulations need to have to exist in order to protect the children from you?
No, I don't. I think people should leave me alone.
Oh, really? Well, I think people should leave you alone too. And I think that you should be allowed to flourish this earth once again. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure that you can once again flourish this earth again and grow and clean our earth again and help provide sustenance to poor nations. I will continue to fight for you for the rest of my life until the day I die. It's that simple, folks. You have to fight for what you believe in, man. And if you believe in good cannabis and you believe in the things that you think you deserve, then maybe it's time you get a hold of some seeds.
Yeah.
It's that simple, Don't buy into this government racket bullshit. Just go get yourself some seeds. Follow some of my grow classes. I offer free grow classes. If you're a member of our garden club, that's what we're about, is Cannabis Garden Club. We are statewide. So if you live in the state of Oregon and you want to get involved in the Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club in your area, well, that's real simple to do. All you need to do is get a hold of Ganja Goddess at clubsweetleaf@aol.com. Tell her, hey, I'd like to try to get involved in the club in my area. We'll get you associated with our regional director, and then in that area that we have appointed in that region. And then we'll start letting you know when our classes are available. And of course, when membership starts. It's all about an orientation, though, because as you already probably are not really aware of, Oregon Sweet Leaf Revival Cannabis Garden Club is a private medical cannabis garden club. It is for patients and for those that subscribe to medical cannabis in the state of Oregon and within the United States. And, we've got viewers and fans all over the world that we work with, and we are very happy to work with our fans and viewers across the world on a one-on-one basis or on a multiple basis. But, it's all about teaching you how to do this so that you no longer have to rely on somebody else's bullshit. And it's that simple, and it's real easy. It really is easy to do. You don't really need to do a lot to learn how to do that. And I'm willing to teach you. All you have to do is join us at the Garden Club. Check us out on Facebook. We're on Facebook. My name is Michael Wolfhelm. And of course, this is the Druid Smoke Show, and I'm closing out tonight. As I always say,
Sharing's always caring also.
it starts with one free plant. You free this little guy, this little girl. I hope it's a guy. If it's a guy, I'm going to breed it. So, because I want seeds. But it always, see, it starts with this one little plant, and then it begins to grow and flourish into this little teenage girl right here, like it's done right here. Oh yeah, say it to him. Tell him how you love it. Okay. Say, I love you, world. Don't worry. We're going to win. We're going to win, aren't we? See? Yep. See? She's going to, don't worry. You know how many fucking governments in this world have tried to eradicate her from this world? You're not going to do it. Give up your attempts. It's worthless. And your rules aren't going to work because, as you can tell, there are no rule books. Do you see any rule books? I don't see no rule book with this thing. She's never really given me one over the years that I've produced her. And, you know.
Make sure you tell the world that you're a patient.
I will tell the world right now that I am a patient to this plant. I'm a patient grower, and I am licensed within the state of Oregon to grow cannabis medically for myself. And this is one of my plants that I grow for myself. And I've bred. This is something that I've bred myself, and I'm just blessed to be able to have a relationship with it. And I want to be able to teach others in the world how to have a relationship with it too. That's my only goal in life, is to fight for her rights. Free the plant, folks. The rest will follow. Have a good night.